Hello, everyone. I hope everybody is having a beautiful, fabulous Friday. It is currently Monday when I am filming this, and it has not been a beautiful, fabulous day. Let me just tell you, we will get into that story. I have a new intro for you guys, so let's play the intro. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll be right back. Welcome to Beauty in the Bush. More times than not, estheticians go to beauty school, go work for somebody else, get really good at the services that they offer, and decide, well, I guess it's time I start my own business. But they know nothing about running a business. Take it from me. I started my first business renting a room from a beauty salon in January of 2020. And then the pandemic hit. 3 months old, my baby business did not know what to do, and neither did I. Fast forward a year and a half, I decided it was time to hit the big leagues and start my brick and mortar business. Like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. I spent so much time trying to figure it out, and I truly believe I had to go through all of my lessons so that you don't have to. I hope that this episode brings you so much joy and many lessons to learn from. I'm your host, Adrienne Lee, aka the SDpreneur. Now let's dive in. How did we like that intro? I think that it's like what needed to be said from the very beginning, and why wasn't I saying that in the very beginning? So you can go back to older episodes and hear the intro that I was saying, but I just thought it was time. LOL, literally 2 months into the podcast, and I thought it was time to just revamp it. I feel like this is going to be a project that I'm going to be revamping every single chance I get, honestly. Yes, today was not a beautiful, fabulous day. I mean, it totally was. I had a coffee meeting with another waxer here in town, and that was really fun. And then I held a Brazilian boot camp class, so that was really fun. My girl Serena and I tag teamed it, so she is taking over wax training for me, which is such a weight off my chest. I appreciate her so much for taking that off of me and my responsibility list that is forever going on. She's taken so much off my plate. I seriously, shout out to Serena. She's the real MVP. And then I just led the classroom portion. I'm wearing my Anti-Shaving Club t-shirt from Wax 101 or Wax 401. I will tag her Instagram below so you guys can go get your own little t-shirt. I love this shirt so much. I always get compliments on it and comments on it, and I think it's a really great conversation starter if you're a waxer and you want to talk about your business, which I highly recommend you talk about your business every single chance you get. If you are watching on YouTube, this is my microphone right here. This is the best placement for it, so y'all just have to look at this little furry face the whole video, and that's okay. During the Brazilian boot camp, the phone ring, and Serena went and grabbed it because I was teaching, and it was a client. She was mad that I charged her our cancellation fee. Totally get it, totally understand. She then went on to leave a very nasty Google review, and you know what? Adrienne a year ago would have been off the rails right now. This happened literally 3 hours ago, and I feel fine. I know my worth. I know that her words are her words, and she can feel that way, and that is totally fine. She has all the right in the world to feel the way that she feels. I, on the other hand, do not believe the things that she was saying. So it's like reading, if you had bright orange hair and somebody told you you had green hair, you would be like, that's interesting that you feel that way. Because in my perspective, it's orange. So that is that. But it gave me a really good idea for the topic of today's episode, which is the worst parts about running a business. Things that I wish I knew / things that I wish I was coached through the first time that these things happened. So we'll start out with negative reviews. We have had 2 negative reviews. Please, Lord, let those be the only two. I love feedback and I love constructive feedback, but these reviews are truly just negative. They are just not helpful. They're not useful. One was about our prices. Don't book here if you don't want to pay that price. And one was about me and my character and how much of a cold-hearted shark that I am. Which, low-key, if she is telling my future, and if I'm going to go on Shark Tank and be a shark and invest in people's businesses, like, that'd be cool if I could be an investor. Maybe like a 10-year goal, maybe like a 30-year goal. Who am I kidding? That's gonna take me a while. Okay, so yeah, not nice, but the way that I am, again, feeling so fine right now, like I really am not being affected by this. My only grievance with it is if somebody goes on Google and sees we have negative reviews and decides to not book with us. That would make me mad. I guess I wouldn't really know, like if somebody chose to book somewhere else, I wouldn't really know the repercussions that would happen if this were to cause that to happen. But I am no longer in the treatment room, so all of the services that are provided are for or from my waxers. They're from my employees, and I obviously want them to succeed, so if this affects them, like that would make me mad. That's literally the only, negativity that I feel towards this review. But let's go back to the hair example. Like if I'm sitting here, you guys see I have brown hair, but if somebody were to be like, this lady with the blonde hair and brown eyes, right? I've got green eyes. But if people are trying to tell me that I'm one thing that I know that I'm not, like it really doesn't affect me. And that has been what business has really shown me is there is a whole level, and I think the foundation level of business ownership is personal development. You have got to be so secure in who you are, and trust me, I have not always been like this. Trust me, but business has been the best. It kind of has just catapulted me into being like this, not giving a fuck what people think about me, and being so true and knowing so deep in my soul who I am and what I stand for and what my values are and how I treat people. Business is the best therapy session you will ever get. But I think the universe was like, let's just toss her a little test and see how well her therapy is paying off. And baby, it's paying off. So thank God for that. But I would just say, like, be prepared. This is the first, number one, be prepared for negative reviews, negative comments, negativity about how you're running your business, negativity about how bad of a business owner you are, how bad of a boss you are. You're just going to be shown how people feel about, I guess, you, but truly about themselves. Like really how happy they are in their lives. Like I know in my heart, I would, if I got a terrible service somewhere and if I didn't agree with the policy somewhere, or who knows, my ass would not be writing a negative review, truthfully. I had a pretty terrible experience at a local small business, locally owned store last week. My first thought was not to rip them apart on Google. My first thought was, how can I get in contact with the owner and just tell her what experience I had to have her make it a little bit better. And it wasn't even that bad. It was just like we walked into a store and we were not greeted. We were in there for like 20 minutes and nobody said a word to us, which is an odd thing because like there was definitely people that worked there and then we were the only customers there. So, but I'm getting besides myself. Hurt people. And you are just going to be a kind of like a whiteboard for people to write all of their feelings all over. So that is the first thing. Negative reviews, how I handle them, with grace. I typically don't respond to negative reviews. I mean, I know who I am in my soul and I know what my business stands for, and that's all I got to say about that. Okay, so the next thing that is the worst part about being a business owner and running a business is the cost of everything. In the beginning, especially, you're going to be paying $50 for this permit, $100 for this permit, $300 for these startup supplies, $500 for this certificate. It's just gonna be like handing out money like it's candy. And if you don't have a good cushion, I'm sorry to say, but you're going to be operating from a scarcity mindset, and that's just not a good way to operate a business. You really want to try to remain in a creativity, creative, free-flowing mindset. If you get into the scarcity mindset, what you put out into the world is what you attract, and so it's just going to attract more bills, more scarcity. It's just not going to be a pretty thing. Speaking from experience, all of these are speaking from my experience, like what I have been through in business, what I wish I was coached through, what I wish that I had a mentor to talk me through, things that I wish that I was warned about. So truthfully, if you're trying to start even a salon suite, honestly, I really wouldn't even try if you have probably less than 20 grand in the bank, because it's not going to take you 20 grand to open up, but you do want to have a cushion in case nobody books with you. Can you imagine, like, say you spend 10 grand on just like opening up your space, the rent, the security deposit, all of your supplies and materials, all of the software that you're going to need, anything else, like advertisement, whatever. Say you spend 10 grand on all of that, and that was your safety net, that was all of your savings that you had, and nobody books. What are you going to do when you don't have an income coming in and you just spent all of your life savings on this business? I would say definitely have a cushion. Try to have 3 to 6 months of operating expenses, and if you don't know what those are going to be, try your best to estimate them and then add money to that. I always add like extra. I'm always rounding up. Like if it's $50, I'll just say $100. If it's 350, I'll put it at 500. Like I'm trying to always overestimate how much I'm going to spend so that I can oversave and be overly prepared. Because if you go into business and you don't have a good cushion, you're just not going to be able to support yourself, have a creative mindset, get ideas going, take the day off and walk around the town and drop off business cards. Like you're just not going to be in that space to be able to do that. So, number 2, the worst things about owning a business is the cost of everything, and it is what it is. Try not to talk about it. Try not to be like, oh my God, why do they want to charge me $35 for shipping? Because they want your money, because they're trying to survive in today's economy just like you are. That's why. And it's okay. They're just trying to get their money. That's it. That's as plain and simple. It's not anything about you. It's not anything about your business. It's literally just the way of the world. So if that's going to bother you, maybe don't own a business, but have a good cushion if you do want to own a business. My next third thing about running a business, the worst things about running a business, is suppliers and vendors and at-home care, and just trying to find what works for you. We have been through so many products. It's like we're little scientists here experimenting with our skin and trying to see what's going to work best. But I am happy to say 3 years later, we have finally found the exact products that we want to use in service, the exact products that worked really well outside of service, and all of our supplies and materials. We've got them all down. We love them all. One of our favorite at-home care brands went out of business last July. I literally started crying because I love their products. They are so amazing. I believe fully in the product itself. And I was like, what are we going to do? Oh my God, what are we going to do? And I had gotten clients hooked on it. So not only myself and my team loved these products, but there was hundreds of people that also loved these products. And I was like, oh my God, we can't keep them in business? Are you telling me like we can't just buy all the products? Yeah. Vendors, don't settle. Make sure the quality is good, but just know it's going to be an experiment. Like, you really gotta test it out. You gotta test all the waters and see what works best for you and what works best for your clients. 1, 2, 3. The fourth thing, the fourth worst thing about running your own business, being the bad guy. You gotta put your foot down sometimes. This goes into like having a team, but also just having clients. You're gonna have to be the bad guy. You're gonna have to be the one that somebody is mad at. You're going to have to be the one that stands by your policies. And it sucks. It's the worst part about the job. It's the worst part. I hate it. I hate being the bad guy. I hate like bringing somebody's day down, but at the end of the day, it is a business. And if you let one client slide with the no call, no show, are you going to let the next client slide and the next client slide? It's just such a slippery slope. And if you don't put your foot down from the beginning, it's going to be so much harder to put your foot down a year, 2 years, 3 years in, when you finally decide like, oh shoot, I'm losing out on a lot of money. And yeah, being the bad guy sucks, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It's a business at the end of the day. I don't know what else to say about this one. I have tried to be a people pleaser my whole life, and I think maybe this review is just like a reflection of that. Like, I am choosing to not be a people pleaser anymore and to stand up for myself and for my business, and the universe is maybe like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you don't want to just like have this client walk all over you? I'm sure. I'm gonna be the bad guy on this one. I know it's gonna be okay. But just know, you're probably gonna have to be the bad guy every now and then, and it's okay. It's all part of business. Okay. Number 5, worst thing about running a business, the anxiety. Girl, when I tell you I have spent more sleepless nights running this damn business than I have in my entire life, oh my God. And I don't know if it is like the fact that it's a storefront location that gives me such bad anxiety, or that I have a team now and I am like supporting 4 different families, literally like families, people that have children. I'm responsible to take care of them so they can take care of their kids. That's so much responsibility. It just gives me such anxiety. And I truly have anxiety like every day. I'm really working on it. This is why we're in therapy. This is why we love our therapists. But yeah, the one thing that I wrote down here, I made a list for the first time this podcast episode. I typically don't have a list. I kind of just like go off whatever comes to my brain. But the one thing that I wrote down was have boundaries. So I just think from the beginning, like, you really have to have some work-life balance and some boundaries and some things that you are not going to compromise on and some things that you will. Because I have been 100% a business owner and 0% a human being. And oh my God, all I think about is my business. All I think about are my girls. All I think about is the brick and mortar. Literally all I think about. So I think that's why I have anxiety. But I would say try your best to have some work-life separation and still dive into your hobbies. And I hate to say it, but like, if skincare, if waxing, if beauty services are your hobbies, get some new hobbies, because they're soon to be your job, your career, and you cannot treat your hobbies like a career and your career like hobbies. It just doesn't work. So I've now switched and I've created my hobbies. They're now my career. And now I don't have any hobbies, but I do have anxiety. Is anxiety a hobby? Maybe. It might just be an addiction at this point. But that is the 5th worst part about running a business, is just like this constant Oh my goodness, this constant anxiety that I feel when I think about my business, which is all of the time. But we're working on it. I really think that I have been put on this earth to help spread some teachable lessons, and I think I'm just living through everything that I need to teach to you guys. So take it from me, have some work-life separation because it's really hard to create it after you have given your all and created your whole entire personality around your business. So let's create your personality first and let the business just be like a little side personality. It doesn't need to be the whole personality. And hopefully that'll help with your anxiety. I'm not sure if that's like the reason for the anxiety or if I'm just like a little anxious person, but yeah, anxiety is the fifth worst part about running a business. The sixth and final one that I came up with, the worst things about running a business, number 6 is responsibility. It's all up to you, baby. It is all up to you. It is either going to break you or make you. It is either going to help you grow or help you crumble. The responsibility that you feel as a business owner, especially a brick and mortar business owner, and especially a team leader, the responsibility is huge. Everything is up to you. All the decisions are up to you. You literally got to be so on all the time. Like, you got to be on when a person calls you, whether it's a client or a team member at 6 a.m., 10 p.m. You got to be like ready and on and willing and able to be the business owner. Like, say, God forbid, something were to happen. Oh, here's a great example. We, about 2 years ago, so we're on a street in Fort Worth that is not up and coming, but it's come up. It's not so much up and coming anymore, but it's just close to a county hospital, and there's a highway nearby, and so we have a lot of homeless like around the neighborhood. I wouldn't say like living in the neighborhood. They just kind of hang out. And one day, sunny Sunday afternoon, I do phone-free Sundays, not anymore, learned my lesson. And this man, obviously intoxicated, came onto the porch, caught a glimpse of his reflection, thought that it was somebody he needed to fight, and busted out one of our windows. Who do you think had to handle that? This girl. That is what it is like running a business. You just never know what is going to come your way, and you got to be ready for anything. Definitely not my favorite part about running my business, but it is the responsibility that I chose to take on. So just know, when you open your business, your brick and mortar, you got some responsibility. You need to be able to handle these things with grace. I think that is first and foremost. Like, obviously I've been doing this for 3 years now, and I really don't think I would have been able to handle some of the negativity that's been thrown my way 3 years ago with this much grace. But at the end of the day, I know God's got my back. I know I can trust in the universe, higher power, whoever is up there. I know I'm on this path to do good. And I know I'm here to spread light. Like, at the end of the day, like, I know I'm a good person. And I know I wasn't meant to just own this business just to own a business. Like, I truly want to make an impact in somebody's life. And that brings me to my final point that I want to leave you guys with, is to know your why. Because these are just some of the things, some of the negative things that may come up when you decide to run your business. Whether it's a brick and mortar or just a salon suite, negative things will come up. And this isn't to scare you. This is truly just to warn you and to get you prepped and ready. Because if you feel in your heart that you are meant to run a business and run a team and impact people's lives and be part of a family, because at the end of the day, like, my team is like my family, and our clients are like family to me, truthfully. I know when y'all are graduating. I know when y'all are going off to college. I know when y'all are getting married. I know when y'all are having a baby. Typically, we're the first to know that you are pregnant. When you get engaged, I literally cried with a client 2 months ago when she came home from Japan with a ring on her finger. I literally cried with her because I'm just so happy for you guys, and y'all are like my family, and I'm gonna get emotional right now too. So if you know in your heart that you are meant for something much bigger than yourself and a business is calling to you, like, truthfully, don't let these scary things scare you. Don't let these negative things scare you. Know in your soul that you're meant for something so big and so grand, and that the universe has got your back. You would not have these ideas if it wasn't meant for you. And if you need any support and any guidance and any love and light and positivity, please reach out to me on Instagram, leave a YouTube comment, email me. I am so happy to help you along your journey. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think that's what we are all here to do. Like, we are all just mirrors, and, you know, we're just all put in each other's lives for these reasons. And I really hope to be a positive light in everybody's life that I touch. I really, really hope that and pray for that. So I love you guys. I hope this episode left you with, some lessons and some ways to handle the hardships when it comes to business. And also, I hope that you feel excited. I do really hope at the end of the day, like, with all the shit that comes with it, I hope that you're so excited, because running a business is truthfully taking life by the horns and being like, let's fucking go. And it's not for the weak, but I know you're not weak, baby. You got this. I love you. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for listening to Beauty in the Bush. I love and adore you guys so much. I hope you loved this episode as much as I loved creating it. Feel free to leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And you can even subscribe to my YouTube channel, where we have the live version of these podcast episodes, if that floats your boat. Make sure you're following over on Instagram at _STpreneur for all the behind the scenes within my 6-figure brick and mortar beauty business, as well as my online coaching business for beauty professionals. I look forward to connecting with you there, and I will talk to you in next week's episode. Bye!